Hello, storytellers. I want to explain die ranks in the For the Lord RPG game system. In this game, it's a D20 system where you roll a D20 plus your trait, which is your ability score, and it equates to D&D. It's you can go from like -2 to 4 plus 5. Okay, so you get that. You get your trait and you get your D20, but then you get skills or blessings or high ground or aim or little abilities, anything else to give you an extra bonus to your roll. So you get your D20, you get your trait, and then you get the die rank. Now, what's a die rank? The die rank, every time you get a die rank, you add up, you go up a number. So whenever you get blessings or your skills, they're die ranks, and they all combine to be one total die rank. You could get 12 die ranks in a roll. You could get 17 die ranks in a roll. Yes, you can. And it will not break the system. Because here's how it works. So obviously the first 5 die ranks is just you get a D4 for your first one. That's usually when you start off with your levels. You get, +1 die rank. And then you can get 2 die ranks. If you have a skill in, let's say, sewing, 2 die ranks. You get your D20 plus your intellect, which is crafting, and then 2 die ranks. And that's a D6. So you roll that to accomplish something, and usually the number is 12. Now, obviously the GM could change that number, or it will be changed, and I'll explain that in a sec. So that's it. What I love about this system is that that skill number is not a constant number. It's still in flux. You can still roll a 1, you can roll a 6, you can roll a 3. And that's what great about this system is there's no limit. And I'll explain that too. As you go up in die ranks, hey, you might get, maybe you have 2 in sewing, but then you get, you're a nun, so you can bless yourself and give yourself 2 more. For that, and you've been in prayer all morning, and it was an amazing meditative prayer, and you rolled that really high, and then that gave you some inspired dice, so you go up to 6. You have a really good sewing kit. That's an amazing, well-built sewing kit. That sewing kit has 2 die ranks. See, it has its own little bonus there, and you go past, obviously 5, which is a D12. You go all the way up to 8. What does that mean now? If you go up to 8 die ranks, you just, over here, you create a dice pool. You just divide it by 5. So if you divide 8 by 5, it becomes 1 and remainder 3. So the 3 now is a D8. So you get a D12 and a D8, and you roll that, and you keep the highest. See? So you're not adding the die. You're not getting a D12 and a D8. You're rolling a D12 and a D8, and you keep the highest roll. That's what I love about this game. You could get 17 die ranks. And I, as a GM, am not worried. Like you're going to break, you're going to always sew perfectly, or fighting, you're always going to hit and kill. No, you still can roll low. You can still roll 2 1s in that little dice pool there, or you could roll a 2 and a 3, and you got to pick the 3, and that's it. So you don't even get, and then you rolled on your D20, you only rolled the 2. I've had so many guys. One guy did a roll where he got all these. He was doing a lab work, had cool tools and all this stuff, and he still rolled like a 2 or whatever, 3 for D20, and then on his 3 dice, the dice pool, a D12, a D12, and a D10 or whatever, he rolled a 2, 2, and a 3 or whatever. It was just really bad. It was funny, and so that's what's cool about this is that the system is that as more and more you go up, you still have a better chance of succeeding, but you can still fail, and it doesn't break the game. So there's no limit. There's no cap at 10th level. None of that. You just keep adding die ranks, and it becomes a dice pool that you keep the highest roll. Now, there's little extra fun things in there that if you roll 2 7s, you explode the dice and you get a ton of dice, ton of numbers. Yeah, an amazing accomplishment. If you roll 2 1s, you get a fumble. Even if you succeed, even if you roll like a 12, a 1, and a 1, right? You have 3 dice there for the dice pool. You get the 12, but the 2 1s means you still have a fumble roll or whatever. If you roll just a 7 or above in any of these dice, and you roll a nat 1, you cancel that 1. So that's a fun little extra thing there that really helps. So that's pretty much it. That's how simple the dice ranks are. You main die roll, trait, die ranks, and you just keep adding them up. And again, when you go over 6 or over 5, because 5 is D12, when you go over that, you then divide by 5 in remainder, and then you roll a dice pool and keep the highest. And that's how it goes. And you can, and that's the fun thing. I, as a GM, can say, yeah, you get this bonus for high ground. You get this for, they're not looking at you. They don't notice you. I'm going to give you 2 more die ranks for that. You just can't, you can just keep adding it. And And what I love too is that when I describe something, it's in die ranks. So you want to climb that wall. Okay, well, it's wet, one die rank. It's raining really hard, another die rank. These are difficulties. It's really sheer and rocky, and another die rank. It's really high. Three more die ranks, man. That's really high. So let's just say, okay, that's it. I have D12 and a D4 there, right? D12 and then a D4. I roll those, and I pick the highest number, and I add that to my 12. So let's say I roll a 10 and a 1. So I take the 10, add it to 12. The difficulty to go up that thing is a 22 now. 10 and 12 is 22. 12 is the default to do anything, and then I can add these die ranks and roll, and then tell them that's the number to get up that cliff. I love that because I can describe things, and I know that each description will add a die rank. Common sense, but for the most part. And whenever there's penalties, whenever they have wounds or anything like that, they don't subtract it from their roll. I take that and add it to my roll, right? So if somebody is hurt with a D8 or minus 3 DER, that's D8 minus three die ranks, they don't have to roll it on their end. I will take that, roll it on my end, and add it to my difficulty, or add it to all the die ranks I just said there by the cliff wall. And then you're also wounded, so I'm gonna add 3 more, and then re-roll, and then roll that, and then get the dice pool number for the difficulty to climb up. And I could explode the dice too, and it's really super hard. So that's what I love about this system, is the die ranks is just a very easy way of never maxing out, never getting too powerful, having fun with D20 and a dice pool with little combos. And you can homebrew little versions, if you get this and that, you get this. If you get that and that, you get that, that kind of thing. I kept it simple with just the 2 7s, the 2 1s, and the 7 if you to cancel an at 1. Okay, that's how simple the die ranks are. And when you buy them to go up skills, it's how many there. If it's 3 die ranks you want to get, it's cost you 3 glory points. If you want to get to 11, you got to go each one incrementally. Obviously, if you go from 10 to 11, it's 11 glory points to spend to raise it to that next level. And yeah, it's a really simple system. It looks confusing when we play, but this is it. This is how I try to put a little infograph here to explain the die ranks to dice pools. Okay, and there's another one called die rank results, which I'll explain later, but that has to do a lot more with what happens at the other end to get, like prayer. You can roll, and the higher you roll, the more die ranks you get, so that you can give it to the other players, as inspired die. And that's a big part of the game as well, but I'll explain it in another one, the die rank result. This is just die ranks and dice pools. Okay, hope you understand that. It's really fun. Start your game, start your ministry, start your fellowship. This is for the Lord RPG. In the game of life, let's all roll holy dice.